Hello, viewers. I'm Vibhuti Jha. This is Jaipur Dialogue USA. Welcome to the show. As always, I request you to please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Give your feedback, and we like to hear from you. Today, I'm very saddened to talk about the death of an AI genius, 24-year young Suchir Balaji in San Francisco Bay Area, who just recently celebrated his birthday. And very next day, he was gone. The storyline that was floated in the media was that he committed suicide. A brave young man who dared to expose the copyright, the probable copyright violations in ChatGPT or OpenAI, whatever it's known as, and it was discussed in New York Times, suddenly was eliminated. Whether it's murder, death, or suicide, we will never know. But the storyline given out is that it was suicide. I am, very disappointed that young people's lives are lost in this manner. This is the string of death of Indian students. Actually, I did a full 2 shows on this matter when suddenly Indian students were victims of target killings, accidents apart. So today I can't say I'm happy at all. I'm very, saddened to bring to you Poornima Balaji and Balaji Ramamurthy, parents of Suchir Balaji, to talk about that. So I appreciate your courage and emotional turmoil to come on the show. I would request both of you, be in the frame there. That's correct right now. Stay there as you are. So tell us about this entire thing. Your son, I read the report in New York Times. I went through after we talked yesterday that this particular thing is not looking like a suicide. It reminded me of another tragic suicide murder thing that happened to a famous Indian actor Sushant Singh Rajput, who died also in kind of a suspicious similar circumstances. So I want you to tell us your feelings, how you are looking at the whole thing, and what needs to be done. So I will give the request the father to talk first about it.
Yeah, Suchir is a very adventurous person who joined a lot of clubs, like activities like rock climbing, um, golf, and even he recently bought motorbike. So he is very adventurous, and he has a good circle of friends who he goes along for different countries. And also recently he went for a trip to LA. That his birthday. Um, that week was the birthday week, so he celebrated. He had a good, happy mood there. And when he came back on Friday, I was the last person to talk to him. So I asked him with whom he went. He explained about his friends of school, and they go together every trip. So he was in a happy mood. He enjoyed his birthday, and I was talking about let's go for Vegas January for a CES exhibit. He agreed to go for that, and also I told I will send some gift for his birthday. Those conversation was in a good mood for him, and it also showed reflected his happy mood. And he said he's going for dinner after that. So that conversation ended there. Um, yeah, that is thing I can say. What is last conversation, how he was, and that shows the pattern of how he was. And also everything is like he was financially good, mentally good, and he has a good friend circle. He had a good profession, and also he had a plan to start his own startup. So those are his good traits, and that shows he doesn't have any suicidal tendency.
Purnima ji, yeah, you are a cloud architect in Infosys. You are an educated professional, and so as you. So are you, Balaji, because you are also a software engineer and an independent contractor. Purnima ji, I want to ask you this very simple question. It's not easy to bear the loss of your only child, and so when you went to the apartment, what did you see that led you to suspect whether it was murder or suicide?
The apartment, the crime scene, his room was scattered, and also there were few items that had fallen down in the bathroom, and the blood splatter. Not exactly where the body was found. We also found that in the bathroom as well. That shows there was some kind of physical harm to him, and there was an attack on him. That's from the crime scene perspective. And since we learned that we needed more data, we did a private autopsy that sheds more light on what could have happened. We are waiting for the authorities to look into this matter and do a thorough investigation, do some kind of CSI, come home to his apartment and do more investigation. More than anything else, like it's very evident that he was outspoken and his claim was against entire AI industry. $100 billion industry would have been impacted by his testimony in New York Times battle. 18th of November, he was named as a witness and he claimed that he had a document against the copyright law and he could prove it. Within a week, he's gone. I think this is very, very suspicious.
It's suspicious, yes. I mean, this is it's a tough call. It's a tough call. Within a week, it happens. He has evidence, but did he ever talk to you about what did he have?
He just told me it was unethical and he was not happy and he quit it. But he didn't actually say. He shared about his future plans. He wanted to start a machine learning startup, which is non-profit, and he said he had a team of 5 involved. He spoke to me that he was going to talk to VC for seed funding. His name is Amit Kumar. About his career passions, he even said that he's financially so sound that initially he doesn't even want to worry about his salary. He had enough money to support himself. He had concrete plans, and last time when I met him, he said, "You'll see my company shape up in a year."
Shape up in a year. This shows the young man, your son Suchir, had plans.
Yes.
The people with suicidal tendency, or forced into a circumstances in which he would take his own life as it is alleged, sounds very difficult to believe.
Yeah, if he went all over, he had many more interviews with Associated Press and few other people. If he's so vocal and so brave, that act doesn't really add up.
It doesn't
And
add
he
up.
didn't leave any note. Usually, authorities come to conclusion based on not only on the evidence they find. I request the authorities to take into account two more facts. His mental state was very good, and he didn't leave any note. Those factors need to be considered, and a thorough investigation is needed.
Thorough investigation is needed. Of course, it is needed. But Balaji, what I wanted to ask you was that you are a software engineer and your son was a genius in this arena. So there is always a dilemma between ethics and copyright laws and everything else. But we know at this point in time that the big tech plays big time in our lives, big role in our lives. They control, they manage, they manipulate. Do you suspect? And if you do, what do you think is the reason that you would suspect that there was foul play?
Yeah, I think Suchir is kind of rebel who doesn't follow the conventional way. Even solving problems, he always does in a different way. And so initially he was happy with his work, and slowly when he started in the third year, he saw some things which he didn't agree. So that there is a yeah, there is friction, maybe probably, and he came out because of his ideals are different. He's always stood by ethics. So that way, he want to convey to the world what his ideals and what he believed. So he tried different ways, contacting different new media and meeting lawyers also to see how we can protect our rights, individuals. So that way, I think he was working on his like warrior, I can say, to protect the community and society from the harmful the effects. I mean, AI has its darker side also. So that way, he was trying to protect us in a way that ethics can be implemented. So no, it doesn't hurt us. So it is like a car without a brake. Uh, it can go off the cliff. So if you take AI is the powerful car, it needs a brake. So he was working on the to put the brake so that we go in a safe journey. That brake is not there right now. It is going wild. So he was trying to put that brake and save us. So
Wow.
yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
So that way I can say the AI companies maybe not like this. They want to. It is like a wild, wild west now. There should be a control. He felt, which can useful for the society.
Do you think, Purnimaji, that at some point in time, if my memory doesn't fail me, even Elon Musk had made a mention that AI is going way beyond and it needs some kind of a regulatory thing. Do you think that inspired the ethical
Yes.
mindset in Suraj Suchir that it had to be somebody has to do that. The ethical issues and moral issues in politics business, they are always used as a punchline. And I find that those people who actually take up the ethical and moral battle, they end up on the wrong side of the stick, because the big manipulators, they don't follow those paths. So you, as a cloud engineer with Infosys, a large company, of course, Indian multinational, how do you feel about the role of ethics here, and what inspired him to do that? He could have easily, he's a smart guy, he would have definitely understood the impact of being a whistleblower, knowing fully that how WikiLeaks and Snowden and others who became whistleblowers earlier, they didn't have an easy time.
Actually, Suchir, he stated in his own interview that if you believe in what you believe, you'll have to do what's needed. That was his take. And when I spoke to him, you should not take this on your own shoulder. You need a group. He said he's building a team. He's working towards it. In fact, we came across few people who he was talking to and who are supporting him now openly, like George Webb, Gary Marcus, and few other people. He had a team that was supporting him. But unfortunately, he just opened up and he took a really brave step. In fact, like we weren't aware that he was going to give a witness. If we had known, we could have protected him some way or the other.
Oh, you did not know that he was going to turn in as a witness,
No.
and you did not know in advance about the New York Times and all these things. You only got to know after it had happened, is it?
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
since he was a prodigy since childhood, he had proved to us that he always did the right thing. He was extremely wise and thoughtful. And at some point of time when he joined Kora, like we learned that he's gifted and we shouldn't interfere in his path. And we always gave him the space. But the space and respect we gave him actually took his life, in a way, I can say. We weren't interfering too much, but I did demand an answer from him after the New York Times interview. And what he told me was, Mom, I've not done anything against the law or something. I'm just speaking my opinion. And then I checked with few other friends of mine, and everybody said, you know what, it's like 70% people will agree, 30% will disagree with him. He's just speaking up about his mind. He's not against anyone. And he also said, like, I don't expect any harm to come to me from this. So that innocence actually took his life. I don't
That
know when he received the death threat at this point of time. Probably after November 15th, he might have received a death threat because that's when they were planning to file. But before that, he was okay. He was happy. He was spending a lot of time with parents.
but you made a very powerful statement that his innocence took his life, or
Yes.
his lofty ideal that I'm not doing anything wrong uh, took his life.
Yes.
Tell me one thing, and this is a very personal question. Do you at all feel guilty about it? That you didn't do enough or you could have done more? Both of you. I want this particular thing as a parent, as a father, I'm asking you that, we have a responsibility towards our children. We have a responsibility towards our children to know what they're doing, because they are our authentic creation. Whatever they are, intelligence, genetic, environment, is part of parental grooming and parental bringing up. So, at any point in time, do you feel that you could have done something more?
Every day the thought is never go from us. Every day. But actually we did a rational thinking there, and then he was an adult and he started living his life independently. He was making his independent decisions. I checked with few other people who have grown in this country, who are in their 50s and 60s now. Everybody came up and said, if I believed in something, I would not stop just because my parents said. That's how outspoken they are here. So at this point of time, like it hurts a lot, but predominantly it's not we have not caused it in any way. In any way. In fact, like I didn't even bring stress on him because he was a whistleblower. He didn't even have that kind of stress from us. I told him, I understand it's very unethical. I support you and I'm very proud of you having your own view. And when he wanted to start a non-profit startup, I told him, I'm very proud of you. So, in a way, like if I look back at the last few meetings with him, I did demand an answer and he gave me complete iteration of what his plan was, except this whistleblowing thing.
Or he didn't tell you that at all?
He didn't say that he's going to do more interviews, he didn't say any of that. In fact, I asked him to meet an attorney. He met with a copyright attorney after that, and the attorney confirmed that he's not violated any right and he's not done anything against the law. But we didn't know that we should be going after whistleblower attorneys or that kind of protection. We knew that he won't get another job because companies will blackmark him, right? But he had his own plan to start his company. He said, I'm not looking for another job. That's how he answered me.
Well, you said that he was financially very independent. He was well to do.
Yes.
He was in a very prized territory of AI. So he must have been on great demand to be the kind of person that he is. So Balaji, I don't want to talk long on this subject matter because it's a very emotional thing. It is very distressing. And every Indian parent whose children are in the software and technology and computer must bear in mind, get engaged with your children, know what they are doing, know what is happening in their life. It's not probing, it's not probing, it's not interfering, but we as parents need to take more interest in the lives of our children because they are fiercely independent, as Purnimaji was saying just now. The children grow up in this environment and they become fiercely independent. They don't want to live with parents. Nothing wrong in living with parents. They are your biggest well wishers in the world. So, Balaji, I want to hear from you about this particular element, the same thing which I asked Purnimaji. As a father, do you feel that you needed to be more close to him, or you missed out on something?
Yeah, I felt I didn't reach out to him when he um, really needed. So, what the reason is? He's a little bit secretive what he's planning to do and things like that. Even for his close friends, he didn't reveal about he's going to talk to the New York Times. So sometime these things, yeah, has to be discussed with the
Parents.
parents and friends so that we know whether it is safe or what are the precautions they can take. So that way, some open communication transparency can help. But how, why he didn't do that, it is not clear. Maybe he thought we won't approve it, and he has his hesitancy because of that. So, because most of us are, I mean, we follow the normal standard things, which somebody like a rebel like him, he thinks differently. So that way, he may be hesitant to explain. I mean, give the his thoughts openly. So we have to sometime, even though it is a risky one, but how to make it safe um, way of implementing. Yeah, sometime we have to give the guidance. So maybe I could have interacted with him more often, but his work nature, even though try to call him many times, sometimes he doesn't pick up. So I have a standard time on Friday, Saturday only. I call him. So he comes for Father's Day, Mother's Day. Those I mean, kind of uh, celebration time festivals. So other times, so he's busy, heavy. I mean, with his work, so we don't disturb also. So that way, I mean, his work nature prevented us to reach him often. Yeah, that some reasons we could have some other ways we could have
Trusted us.
trusted us, and also we do every year one big outing like we go to Yellowstone and we went to Hawaii. Those time he was very happy and he was able to relax and communicate to us. Maybe we could have done some more trips like that to create open communication. Yeah.
But the things is like I think I disagree with Balaji that like I went and met him every 3 weeks once, 4 weeks once. Every time I go to meet him, I would take fruits because I know my son doesn't eat fruits, and I take granola bars and cookies because he's lazy to eat breakfast. Let there be something for him, and like, but the challenge here is he was very secretive, and since his childhood he was very gifted, and he was shy to show his talent to anyone because he was always different from normal kids, right? So that made him very secretive because when he writes like the 80-year-old, if he writes about electrons and protons, like nobody could understand him. 14-year-old wrote about quantum computing, Monte Carlo algorithm. So always he had that gap with who he was and where people are. That made him become very secretive. And of course, anything concerning, he will not want to tell his parents, and he want to protect, our fear. He believed he was safe. He believed he was doing right thing. So he thought, why bother parents?
Well, he was a genius, of course, from what you are telling me that if he at 8 or 14 years of age, he was so advanced in his mind to
Yes.
analyze and look at things in a different manner. He was definitely different. He was definitely different. And to that end, I wish, all three of you were more in communication with each other. Yes, parents, it's difficult life for parents and children here. And communication barrier is the one important thing that parents and children need to have eliminated from their lives. And that's what is important as I converse with you. So, as tragic as Suchit's death is, a 24-year young man, in the
26.
manner that it had 26, 26, as sad as it is also reflective of how we Indians, and especially Hindu parents, need to be closer to our children. Because for us, our children are not accidental tourists in our life. They are part of our cultural upbringing. They are part of us. वो हमारे अंश होते हैं, to use the Hindi का word. They are our part and particle of our life. So to that end, I would urge every parent, take care of your children, because it's your responsibility as parents to break the communication barrier, because children are growing up in a very different environment here. So whether you are in a remarkably woke California or New York, where I am, and you are in California, or you are growing up in a conservative society, but essentially we are conservative people. So our value system in America often comes into clash with what the societies are. So the point of the matter here is very simple. I commiserate with you. I'm very saddened to know about this Suchir's death. It is even more saddening that we don't know whether it was murder or a suicide.
But we
So
know. We know it was not a suicide. We have facts.
you have strong feelings about that. Tell me why you feel that
Not
way.
about gut feeling. We have some facts.
Tell us if you. I mean, my matter is under investigation, so you need not tell us anything.
Exactly. Let
Correct.
the investigation complete. We will give the data to the investigators and the authorities who need from us. We have some means of knowing that it was not a suicide. We
I
have
mean, the very
recreated
fact that
the
you
scene
said
ourselves.
that the blood was in the bathroom and not near where his body was found, that itself is the first step to suspicion and doubt. What did he
Yes.
do? He shot himself in the bathroom first and then walked here and then shot himself again. That itself is a matter of investigation. So I would I would urge all of you to let's pay our tribute to the young genius, AI genius that he was. A life is taken so early for whatever reason. You have mine and our viewers' deepest support in any which way you can. Please reach out to us, and I definitely am very saddened. So
Can I
that
say?
yes, please do.
See, what we request here is it's against $100 billion AI industry. It's not that we can point someone is enemy to him. So
Right.
this needs a FBI team investigation, thorough investigation. Look into his record. Look into people he talked to. Just do very deep investigation, not like an SFPD kind of thing. We need more
You need more. Okay.
FBI.
Definitely. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you very much for coming to talk about Suchir's life and the kind of young man he was. And I have deepest sympathy for you. I empathize with you actually. And so with this matter, I would say my favorite thing, Satyamev Jayate, truth must triumph. Truth must win. And for truth to win, you have to stand up and fight for it
Exactly.
regardless of that. So let us support the family, the parents, Balaji and Purnimaji, in their endeavor to find the truth. And it's in our interest too, to know the truth. That's what's
Um,
important. Any last word that you want to say?
yeah, he was actually very close to me. He was sharing most of his things with mom. Boys are closer to mom than dad as they grow up. So I would not take the blame that we were away, we didn't know anything going on. Yes, I had open conversations, right? Why did you do this? What is your intent? He said he's trying to bring this publicity. And I said, he said, nobody criticizes me except you, mom. And then said, I owe an answer. I owe an answer. And then now that you've shared everything with me, I'm not criticizing you. I need to know. So Unfortunately, this filing and this news and he coming back, we didn't have enough time. He just came back on 22nd afternoon. I was going to meet him next day. When I called him on 23rd, his phone rang once and went to voicemail. I don't know if somebody was there in the apartment to put his phone down. So we assumed that he's busy and we gave him the space. Usually he does bike riding, he does hiking and all in the weekend. He's very busy guy. So there's more reason for us to believe something has happened. And the details we cannot speak up right now.
Yeah, there are a lot of blind spots. We are trying to find the answers. So, yeah, it is evolving. I mean, we will find the answers soon.
Thank you.
Definitely. We
Thank you.
the
And best wishes for that. You have our support and best wishes. So, ladies and gentlemen and viewers, thank you very much for joining today. Satyamev Jayate, let's go and fight for it. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Purnima ji, and thank you, Balaji.
Thank you.
you.